Looking at that photograph, can you describe to the members of the jury what we're looking at?
That is the decedent's right arm.
Okay, and it would have been obviously that hand, or when you actually did it for both hands, that the fingernail clippings and hand swabs were taken?
Yes.
Both hands? This is States 163, which is just sort of a closer version. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And now I'm putting on the overhead States 165. That also appears to be the decedent's hand?
Yes.
And to be clear, it's the technician who actually, with the scissors, who actually cuts the fingernails, and then you hold your envelope waiting for it to drop in?
That is correct.
And that procedure was followed in the autopsy of Mr. German?
Yes.
I'm going to put on the overhead now, States 166. What are we looking at in that photograph?
So this is the sheet that I was referring to, and then the clothing that was removed from the decedent.
Okay, and the sheet is in the upper left kind of corner of the sheet of the photograph?
Yes, that is the sheet that was wrapped around the decedent.
Okay, and then that's the clothing he was wearing?
Yes.
I'm putting on the overhead now, States 167. What are we looking at there?
That is the shorts that were removed from the decedent.
And it looks like there's some car keys there, or keys, is that correct?
That is correct. There were keys in the right pocket.
Okay. And you photograph that as it presents to you when you're attending the autopsy?
Yes.
I'm now putting on the overhead States 169. What are we looking at there?
That is the shirt that the decedent was wearing.
And now I'm showing you States 171. Still appears to be the shirt, but there are these yellow kind of markers on it. What are those?
Those are scaled arrows that we will put on an item to mark the potential areas for defects.
And by defects, it's something in the fabric like a hole or something like that?
That is correct.
I'm putting on the overhead now. This is probably a better one. States 173. Does that appear to be a closer view of one of those markers and a defect?
Yes.
And so by those markers, you're trying to draw the viewer's attention to where there's something in the clothing that may be noteworthy, right?
That is correct.
You also collected Mr. German's shoes?
Yes.
I'm putting on the overhead now, States 175. Do those appear to be the shoes?
They are.
Okay. And States 176 appear to be the backs of his shoes?
Yes, that is correct.
Now, after we talked about all of the evidence you impounded at autopsy, and I think you mentioned this, but I just want to double check. At autopsy, you also took a buccal swab of Mr. German?
Yes, I did.
And I assume that was to collect a DNA sample from him?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, I want to move forward in time to September 7th. On that date, were you asked to go to the Summerlin Area Command to take pictures of an individual?
Yes, I was.
And is that person Robert Tellis?
Yes.
You took a series of photos of him at the direction of Detective Gaddis?
Yes.
I'm putting on the overhead now, States 177. Is that one of the photographs you took of Mr. Tellis on September 7th?
Yes.
And when you were documenting his physical condition, do you have him like turn to the right, so you can get different aspects of his body?
Yes, we will take full body shots, the front, both sides, and the back.
Okay. And this is States 178, just another view, but more sideways?
That is correct.
States 179, the back of him?
That is correct.
And States 180. When you were photographing him, was one of the purposes of photographing him to note any potential injuries that he had on his person?
Yes.
Do you recall if there were any injuries to him?
There were a couple of injuries. He had a Band-Aid on the left ring finger, an injury on the left middle finger, an injury on the right ring finger, and a bruise on the right shoulder.
I'm putting on the overhead now, states 182. You said he had a Band-Aid on his left ring finger.
Yes.
Do you see that in the photograph?
Yes, I do.
Can you move that mouse in front of you and just kind of direct the jurors? Did you ask him or did you direct him to remove that Band-Aid?
Yes.
This is states 184, and that's the hand with the Band-Aid removed.
That is correct.
And this is states 186. A little closer view, is that fair?
Yes, with our scale in there.
Okay. Were you also on September the 7th, did you also collect a buccal swab from Mr. Tellis?
Yes, I did.
And I'm not sure if we covered this, but what does a buccal swab look like?
So it's a self-contained kit. Inside the kit has 2 sealed cotton swabs. So you would take those out and swab one side of the cheek with one cotton swab and swab the other side of the cheek with another cotton swab. And then there's a little box that you would put the cotton swabs into. And after you do that, then you would seal up the kit.
So once you got his buccal swab on September the 7th, did you have specific instructions on what to do with it?
I was to respond back to the crime scene investigation section to get those impounded.
Okay, and was there any like sense of urgency or to do it quicker than normal, or you just were driving straight back? You would have done that anyway, or you tell me.
Yes, I was advised to head back to the CSI section.
Okay, as soon as you got the buccal swab?
Yes.
Okay, and you did that, I assume?
Yes.
And that was, none of the evidence or his buccal swab wasn't compromised from the Summerlin Area Command to where you ultimately impounded it?
No.
Thank you very much. I'll pass the witness.
Cross-examination.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Manning, you were asked to bring that bag with you to court today, correct?
Correct.
And if you could inform us what's contained within that bag.
So inside this bag is a pair of jeans that I recovered from the defendant.
Okay. You brought that from the evidence vault today?
Yes.
I would ask her to launch that with the court. Defense Exhibit A would be great. Thank you. Do you want to have it open now? Or?
She wanted it open?
We intend addressing that late. I mean, by stipulation, we could, or state's pleasure. Absolutely. Since she's here, we'll take advantage. We could have her open it.